Hall of Fame. We, gosh, I forget what time. I think they started rehearsals about 2 o'clock, and so that's where I got ready for the longest night of my life.
Oh God, it was so long. It was 5 hours of people talking.
And you know what? I mean, and Vince is great about this, and the fact that um, Vince is out there and he listens to. I mean, he's watching the rehearsals, but the one thing that they don't rehearse is they don't let anybody talk, or other than maybe say a few words of like what they're going to say at the beginning. Vince doesn't. He doesn't want to hear what they're going to say. I mean, he wants it to be. Just it's going to be their moment, and that's all. That's all great and good, and that's why it goes so long. They don't. I mean, I think he feels like it's as it should, that this is their moment. These people they're talking about their entire career being, they're going to have to describe it in as hopefully what will be, not forever, but anyway, he's not going to put a time limit on anybody. And so that's why some of these go longer than others, because there is no time limit on anybody. So, some of them, I mean, they're like all entertaining, but then by the end of the night, you look down and you're going, "Oh my gosh, how long is this going?" I mean, so it was tough. At one time we're standing backstage, and like it started at like 6:30, I think, and I'm well, really even before that, I didn't even get a chance. I bet probably from 5 o'clock, I'm standing up and never sat down again. Not even in a chair or in the back or anything. Never sat down again till after midnight. So it was just standing up, walking back and forth, going out and doing the stuff and listening to everybody's thing, and then going out and doing the next one, then listening to theirs, then going out and doing the next one, listening to theirs. So it was a long night, and I think everybody at some time or other, people are saying, what can we do to get these little, you look over at Vince over there, one of my suggestions was, I said, and then I thought, well, this doesn't really happen to Vince, I'm sure, but it does happen to most people. Sometimes you go into a restaurant and your table's not ready, and they hand you one of those little vibrator beeper light type things.
Yeah.
Right. And then I thought, Vince has probably never done that. Right. I would imagine. But it has happened to me. So I said, they handed me one of these little vibrators. I said, we should get some of those little vibrators, set them on like 10 minutes, and let the person put it in their pocket as they go out in their tuxedo. And at 10 minutes, that thing can just barely start beeping where they can feel it. And so they'll know, hey, it's time to go. And then maybe at 15 minutes, it can start beeping a little harder. And when it gets like 20 minutes, it can give you like a shock or something, like something like that, to where you got to get off or something. But everybody felt that it was kind of long. It was over almost like at midnight.
Yeah. Well, maybe they should, have less inductees.
That's another good idea. Maybe have a few less.
Right. Hillbilly Jim talked a lot. I did that. He told a lot of great stories, though. Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah.
Was great. It was good to see, Jeff Jarrett. The singing part, not so good.
Yeah, and those two idiots, they got out there and rehearsed that thing for like an hour, and then neither one of them could remember the words, and the words were written on the freaking screen. It's crazy.
Goldberg, poor Goldberg. Him coming out, he's the main guy, well deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. And he comes out and basically, the fans were sticking around, but when they showed there was a picture a fan took of, all the WWE people, and about 3/4 of the people cleared out before Goldberg. So poor Goldberg for not having a full audience, for being the main guy.
Yeah, and that's one of the unfortunate things that happens when you're on last and it goes so long. That's why you're sitting there thinking, man, oh man, what can we do to make this not go so long next year? I remember one time when Goldberg wanted, he wanted to say something to the certain members of the, of the WWE guys, and he said, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns gone. He was already gone, right? So I mean, yeah, that did happen, So
if you're a talent, you're not required to stay the whole time. You can leave whenever you want. Obviously, you can leave. I mean, they left.
Obviously, you can, and sometimes you just have to. I don't know. I mean, I think they just have to take a break every now and then. But I mean,
they left.
Well, no, you know what? Not a lot of them had actually left. A lot of them were like in the back and bathroom breaks and different things. But there were some. I mean, I would, every time I'd go out there, I'd look at certain people, and the most of them, the main ones stayed.
Right.
And I kept saying, and it may be something because of the she's used to listening to filibusters or whatever. But great, Linda McMahon never moved from her seat the entire time, right on the front, and she never, she never moved. She was right there throughout the entire time. But I mean, there were a lot of them. Stephanie, Triple H, they were all there right throughout the entire time, But
Ronda Rousey, Ronda stayed the whole time. Sting stayed the whole time.
She sure did.
Yeah, so it was great to see Ronda.
Good old JR stayed the whole time.
You guys didn't fall asleep, right?
Got a lot of thanks. They are a lot of people thanking JR.
Yeah. So did you? You got a few thanks from the Memphis. Jarrett mentioned you. I think Hillbilly Jim mentioned you. So, King.
You know what? I was really proud of the fact that there was a lot of there were a lot of people that had a little bit of Memphis tie-ins to this Hall of Fame, and even going so far back. One of the things that was really cool was you remember seeing the Legacy Hall of Fame, that they do every year, where they include, some people. And there was Sputnik Monroe. Sputnik Monroe got into the WWE Legacy Hall of Fame, and Cora Combs. Cora Combs was one of Cora Combs lives here in Nashville, and I didn't even realize it. Said that she was one of the first women to ever wrestle in the first women's match in Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
But then Cora Combs came and lived in Nashville the entire rest of her life, and she was a great friend of ours and worked down here. Cora and her daughter Debbie Combs, they worked down here in Memphis forever, and they were wonderful people.
So, any other tidbits from the Hall of Fame before we move on to WrestleMania? Anything juicy happened? What's the rule about Vince? You can't mention Vince. They can't in the speech. They can't ramble about Vince, or he doesn't like that. I guess someone said that.
Yeah, I mean,
don't talk about me.
Well, right, and because I think that I don't even know why, because I think that. It should just go without saying, I mean, anybody that's ever worked here, you got to thank Vince McMahon, but so he's saying, don't do it. I mean, I appreciate it. And you don't need to go in and thank Vince McMahon. It's just a waste of time almost.
Yeah. I think if everybody thanks Vince McMahon, it turns out to be a Vince McMahon appreciation night rather than a Hall of Fame. Yeah, exactly.
And then some of the guys would I think want to go out there and do some extra brown nosing or something like that if they could. So that he just discourages that, and I don't blame him a bit. Nobody in the back likes to have their name mentioned back there.
There is one photo from Hall of Fame. It's a photo of Jeff Jarrett bear hugging Vince McMahon, and Triple H is standing next to them. And there's a caption of a fan that said, "Hell has officially frozen over." But that was great.
You know what? But that was cool. I mean, that's one thing that's cool about the Hall of Fame, and I've noticed this over the years. It's like that's the one place that it seems like, who knows if it really is, but at least it seems like everything is forgiven. Yeah, I mean, I'm not just talking about Jeff or whoever, but I mean, back when the Ultimate Warrior came back, and Bret Hart and different guys, it seems like truly at the Hall of Fame, if there's ever been any bad blood or animosity, it seems like that's the time that it's all forgiven. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing that I thought was really cool was when like certain people, and especially like the guys that are going in the Celebrity Hall of the Wing or whatever, they'll stay back. They have their own dressing room and everything. And then on this time, Kid Rock, he came up on the right before whoever was going on before him. He came up. They had his chair sitting there for him, and I was really excited about when the time he came in to the back. And there's probably 25, 20 people in the backstage area right there, the little small area, the production area, the gorilla position for Hall of Fame. There's maybe 20 people, sound guys and Vince and different ones there. And so when the cool thing, at least for me, was Kid Rock, the only person he came up to was me. And he gave me like a big hug, and he said, "King," he said, I don't know if you're going to get a, how do you say it? He said, you deserve a bump in pay after tonight. He said, you're doing a great job. And I said, wow, thanks. But Kid Rock, I thought was cool too. He started to go off into that little political stuff, but then he brought it back, and I thought he did a real good job too.
He wanted to body slam some Democrats.
Yeah. But then he got it all back together when he said, "Can't we just all get along?"
Let's get along.